Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you all here again. My name is Youssef Munayer. I'm the Executive Director of the Jerusalem Fund and the educational program, the Palestine Center, which is bringing you this event today. Before we begin, I just want to make a couple of announcements about upcoming events. Next Thursday, we have a really fabulous event called Life in Hell, a Journalist's Account of Life in Gaza with Mr. Muhammad Omar, and that's Thursday, November 5th at the same time. Of course, a week after that, we're going to have our annual conference. It's a day-long event on Friday the 13th. I just noticed that it's Friday the 13th of November. Hopefully it will go well. I'm sure it will. And that you'll all join us for that. The 2009 annual conference is entitled The Erasure of Palestine. After that, I'm just going to go in chronological order, but this next event is one that goes on until January 8th, and it starts on the 20th of November. It's one of our many fabulous exhibitions that the gallery puts on, and it's called Mental Meditations by an artist named Ammar Qusaybati. And the opening reception for that is Friday, the 20th of November at 6:30 p.m. And then finally, on the 2nd of December, we're going to have an event on the Palestinian citizens of Israel and discuss their points of view and feature some public opinion polling and analysis. That is the 2nd of December at the same time, 12:30 to 2. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to turn off any of their various types of devices that make noise. And we'd appreciate your cooperation with that. I also wanted to let you know that today we're trying something a little bit different, actually completely different than what we've done in the past. This event is being live streamed over the internet. So we're going to have a chance now to reach out to a much larger audience than people just in Washington, D.C. And for those of you out there who are watching this live, we're inviting you to send in your comments and questions via Twitter on our blog so that people around the world can participate in this discussion as well. So with that being said, today's event is entitled Economic Conditions and the Future of Palestine. And our speaker today is the former Minister of the National Economy for the Palestinian Authority, Mr. Bassem Khoury. The minister is just outgoing as the Minister of National Economy for the Palestinian Authority in Ramallah. He recently resigned his post, citing the government's handling of the Goldstone Report in Geneva. Before his appointment, the minister was chairman of the Federation of Industries. He founded the Palestine Insurance Company, PharmaCare Premium Malta, and PharmaCare PLC. He sits on the boards of Birzeit University and St. Eve's Jerusalem Human Rights Legal Center, and he is married with 3 children and resides in Jerusalem. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the minister to enlighten us about economic conditions and the future of Palestine.
Thank you, Youssef. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I would like to first start by thanking the Jerusalem Fund for giving me this opportunity to address this forum again. Last I was here was almost 8 years ago, and it is really nice to see that this organization is really growing, and what I see in front of me is really admirable. It's been 8 years since I was in Washington, and what I see of change we are seeing. The question is, how can we Palestinians and Arabs benefit from the opportunity that we will have with this administration? Little bit of history. For us Palestinians, this conflict is a basic conflict over our basic rights as a people, most notably our legitimate aspirations to establish a viable, independent, sovereign Palestinian state living in peace and harmony with all its neighbors, and of course Israel being foremost among those neighbors. Back in 1988, we Palestinians recognized Israel, the PLO, as a representative of the Palestinians did so, and we have repeated to do so several times ever since. Doing this, we consider ourselves the indigenous to the land, have relinquished claims on 77% of historic Palestine, and accepted the 23% remaining as a homeland. I myself am a refugee. I come from the Galilee, from a village near Nazareth. Like a majority of Palestinians, I have accepted this historic compromise, and I would like to look to the future. However, this wrong-wing Israeli government has to take a similar historic decision and recognize the right of the Palestinians to establish, alongside Israel, a state on the 23% remaining. Of course, with East Jerusalem as a capital. Attempting to instill changes on this border will open the door for many on our part who will demand alterations. Thus, I believe the 1967 border, known as the Green Line, is really a red line. Today, over 400,000 Israeli colonialists live in occupied Palestinian territory. I would like to stop here just for a second to outline the importance of terminology. They are not settlers, they are colonialists, because when an occupier occupies an area, he brings in people to live there and he builds colonies. He doesn't build settlements. And it is not occupied Palestinian territories, it is occupied Palestinian territory. It's one united territory with one fate. When you speak of territories, it means that a territory can be kept, another territory can be negotiated, and another territory can be given up, like what they did in Gaza. No, it is one united territory, and the fate of this territory, and this is by definition in Oslo and in other international documents. And of course, there's no left wing and right wing. In our situation, there is a correct wing and a wrong wing, and I believe that the current Israeli government is the wrong wing government. So around 400 Israeli colonialists live in occupied Palestinian territory in some 170 colonies in contravention to international law. More than 40% of occupied West Bank is controlled by the colonial enterprise, including the colonies, the bypass roads, the wall, the checkpoints, and other related infrastructure. The whole world realizes and recognizes that this colonialist enterprise is the single greatest threat, not only to the establishment of a viable Palestinian state, but also to peace in the region. In order to salvage what remains of the credibility of the peace process, what is urgently needed is a freeze in the building of the colonies. This has to be a comprehensive freeze that will apply to all the territory, including East Jerusalem, and has to be implemented as fast as possible. And this is something that is a prerequisite if we are to have a credible peace process. Of course, the whole world recognizes this, although lately we've seen some changes in the Obama administration use of terminologies. However, the Israeli wrong-wing government still is not in support of this, and they are pushing forward what they call economic peace as an alternative to political peace. It must not be forgotten that this notion of economic peace has been tried several times before and failed. The whole essence of Oslo was economic, as this interim agreement was basically focusing on economic issues and left all major and important issues to the final status: Jerusalem, settlements, borders, refugees, etc. It was hoped that the economy will be used as something that could uplift the political process, that once we could succeed economically, maybe Palestinians and Israeli will find it easy to negotiate a political solution.